A 42-year-old man walks into Judge Caprio's courtroom to answer for a traffic violation. He's been cited, he knows what happened, and now it's time to face the outcome. Before Judge Caprio can even announce the fine, the man does something surprisingly defiant. He declares he's not paying a cent. His decision is final. The judge hasn't ruled yet, but the defendant has already decided his answer is no. I pay taxes. That's enough. I'm not paying this, he says. Judge Frank Caprio pauses, clearly taken aback. Did this man really just tell a judge he refuses to pay a fine that hasn't even been issued? Did he just imply that paying taxes exempts him from following the law? What follows is a complete unraveling of a man who's already lost his marriage, damaged his relationship with his children, and now risks any chance of mercy in court. Subscribe now. 97% of viewers haven't yet subscribed to Judge Stories. And this case shows exactly why gambling addicts who shift blame instead of taking responsibility end up facing the consequences they create for themselves. By the end of this video, you'll see a man clocked at 87 miles per hour in a 55-zone tourney, manageable fine into a harsh penalty, all because he kept arguing instead of listening to what the judge was about to say. Here's the question. Why do some people insist on fighting unwinnable battles just to avoid admitting they're wrong? Let's find out. Thursday morning, 11:20 a.m. Providence Municipal Court. The bailiff calls the next case. Marcus Thompson, reckless driving. Excessive speed. A man in his early 40s walks in wearing jeans, a hoodie, and a baseball cap. His body language makes it clear he doesn't want to be there. Hands in his pockets, a slight slouch, and an expression that says this entire process feels pointless to him. Judge Caprio looks up. Mr. Thompson, good morning. Please remove your hat in the courtroom. Marcus removes it slowly, clearly finding the rule unnecessary. Mr. Thompson, you're charged with reckless driving on Route 95. The officer recorded your speed at 87 miles per hour in a 55 zone. That's 32 miles over the limit. Can you explain what happened? Marcus shrugs. I was driving with traffic. That's all. His tone is casual and dismissive, not defensive or apologetic, just indifferent. Judge Caprio glances over the report. The officer notes you were weaving between lanes and tailgating other vehicles. Is that correct? I was trying to get somewhere. Everyone drives like that on 95. The judge replies calmly, Mr. Thompson, not everyone drives 32 miles over the limit while cutting through lanes. Marcus exhales in frustration. Look, Your Honor, I don't know what you want me to say. I was speeding, fine, but I'm not paying some ridiculous fine just because the state wants more money. Judge Caprio raises an eyebrow. Excuse me? I said I'm not paying. I already pay enough in taxes. The city gets plenty from me. I'm not paying this ticket. The courtroom falls silent. The prosecutor glances up from her notes, startled. The bailiff subtly shifts his stance, ready in case things get tense. Judge Caprio pauses, then speaks with deliberate calm. Gambling destroyed his marriage, Mr. Thompson. I haven't issued any fine yet, nor have I made a ruling. So why are you already saying you won't pay? Because I know how this goes. He'll probably slap me with a $200 or $300 fine for speeding. I'm telling you now, I'm not paying it. Mr. Thompson, let me clarify how this process works. I ask questions, review the evidence, and then make a fair decision. Judge Caprio opens Marcus's driving record on his screen. His expression tightens as he reads, Mr. Thompson, this is your 4th speeding offense in 3 years. You also have 2 prior citations for reckless driving and 2 unpaid fines that are now in collections. Is that accurate? Marcus shifts uneasily. I don't really keep track of every ticket I get. You don't keep track? Mr. Thompson, you currently owe the city $800 in unpaid fines. Like I said, I'm not paying those either. Judge Caprio leans forward. Mr. Thompson, help me understand something. You're 42 years old with a history of unsafe driving and several unpaid penalties, and you're standing here telling me you refuse to pay again. What exactly is your plan? My plan is simple. I'm not giving the city any more of my money. Do you have a job, Mr. Thompson? Yeah, I work construction when I can find it. When you can find it. So your employment is irregular? Times are hard, Your Honor. Not everyone has steady work these days. Judge Caprio glances back at the file. Mr. Thompson, court records show you went through a divorce 2 years ago. Is that correct? Marcus's face tenses. What does that have to do with a speeding ticket? I'm just trying to understand your financial situation and behavioral pattern. Divorce records are public, after all. They mention that your ex-wife listed gambling addiction as the main cause of the divorce. Is that true? That's a private matter. It became public once it was included in the divorce records, Mr. Thompson. The documents also show you have 2 children, ages 9 and 12. Are you making child support payments? Marcus's jaw tightens. When I can, when you can. So your income is unstable. You have gambling issues, unpaid child support, and now unpaid traffic tickets. Yet you claim the system is at fault? The system is the problem. I'm trying to get by while everyone keeps demanding money I don't have. Mr. Thompson, you were driving 87 miles per hour, weaving through traffic. That's not survival, that's reckless endangerment. The system is corrupt. I was only trying to reach a job site. At 87 miles per hour? What job justifies risking your life and others on the road? Marcus doesn't respond. Judge Caprio continues. Mr. Thompson, let me ask directly. Do you currently struggle with gambling? That's none of your business. It becomes my business when I need to understand why a 42-year-old father has lost his marriage, fallen behind on bills, owes the court $800, and still refuses to pay a fine I haven't even decided on yet. Marcus's face turns red. You don't know anything about my life. Then explain to me why I should believe you'll pay this fine when you've ignored all the others. Because I'm telling you, I'm not going to pay it. How's that for honesty? Judge Caprio's expression hardens. Mr. Thompson, being open about ignoring the law is not commendable. I follow the law. I pay my taxes. That should count for something. Paying taxes doesn't excuse breaking traffic laws, Mr. Thompson. Everyone pays taxes. That doesn't give you the right to drive carelessly. Carelessly? I was just keeping up with traffic. You were driving 32 miles over the limit and weaving through lanes. The officer's report is very clear. He probably just needed to meet a quota. Judge Caprio's tone sharpens. Mr. Thompson, you're now accusing an officer of wrongdoing. I'm only saying what everyone knows. Police have quotas. They stop people to bring in money for the city. That's false, and you know it. Officers enforce traffic laws to keep the public safe. Marcus lets out a mocking laugh. Keep people safe? That's why they hide by the roadside to catch drivers going a few miles over? You weren't a few miles over, Mr. Thompson. You were 32 miles over. Whatever. My point is, the system is corrupt, and I'm done pretending it isn't. The courtroom falls completely silent. Everyone senses where this is heading, but Marcus either doesn't notice or doesn't care. Judge Caprio rises. Mr. Thompson, I want you to listen closely to what I'm about to say. Marcus folds his arms. Defiance written all over him. You came here today with a reckless driving charge that normally carries a $350 fine, plus a possible license suspension. I was reviewing your case, looking at your circumstances and considering whether to reduce the fine or offer a payment plan. I don't want a payment plan. I'm not finished. Mr. Thompson, do not interrupt me. The firm tone stops Marcus immediately. I was considering leniency because I can see you're facing difficulties. Divorce, gambling problems, unstable employment, and children you struggle to support. These are serious challenges that deserve understanding. For the first time, Marcus looks slightly hopeful. However, your conduct in this courtroom has been disrespectful, defiant, and hostile. You've insulted police officers and accused the court. Judge Caprio resumes his seat, his expression firm. Mr. Thompson, here's my decision. The fine for reckless driving and excessive speed is $350. Marcus begins to speak, but Judge Caprio raises his hand. However, due to your conduct in this courtroom, your unwillingness to accept responsibility, your disrespect toward law enforcement, and your clear refusal to follow court orders, I'm imposing additional penalties. Marcus's face pales as the judge continues. Your driver's license will be suspended for 90 days, and I'm adding a $200 fine for contempt of court. Your total penalty is now $550. What? That's absurd. Marcus protests. I'm not finished, says Judge Caprio. Because you already owe $800 in unpaid fines and have shown no intention of paying them, I'm referring your case to the district attorney for criminal non-payment proceedings. You can't do that, Marcus exclaims. I absolutely can, Mr. Thompson, and I am, the judge replies firmly. Furthermore, your driver's license suspension takes effect immediately for 90 days. You're taking my license? How am I supposed to get to work? You should have considered that before driving recklessly and refusing to take accountability in this courtroom. Judge Caprio responds. This system is rigged. Marcus shouts. Judge Caprio's tone sharpens. Mr. Thompson, you will not use that kind of language here. I'll say whatever I want. This is America. Bailiff, if Mr. Thompson continues to disrupt proceedings, remove him from the courtroom. The bailiff moves closer and Marcus realizes he's gone too far. Mr. Thompson, Judge Caprio continues, let me make one thing clear. You entered this courtroom with a $350 fine. With a little humility and respect, you could have left with a reduced fine and a payment plan. Instead, your attitude has cost you an additional $200, a 90-day license suspension, and a criminal referral. Marcus trembles with a mix of anger and fear. How am I supposed to pay $550? I told you I don't have the money. The judge responds firmly, the same way everyone else does. You work, make payments, and take responsibility. But I have a gambling problem. I can't control it, Marcus admits. Judge Caprio's tone remains steady. Mr. Thompson, gambling addiction is a serious condition that needs treatment. However, it doesn't excuse reckless driving, neglecting child support, or avoiding accountability. Marcus grows more desperate. Please, Your Honor, I have 2 kids. They need me. The judge doesn't waver. Mr. Thompson, don't use your children as a shield. If you truly cared for them, you would have thought about them before gambling away your stability, before driving dangerously, before ignoring child support, and before showing this court disrespect. I do care about them, Marcus insists. Then prove it, Judge Caprio replies. Seek help for your gambling addiction. Pay your fines and child support. Obey traffic laws. Be there for your children in meaningful ways. Marcus pleads, how can I do any of that without a license or money? The same way many others do after making mistakes, the judge answers. Take the bus, ask for rides, walk if you must, but figure it out. Because the alternative is far worse. What could be worse than this? Marcus asks quietly. Judge Caprio leans forward. Jail, Mr. Thompson. If you refuse to pay your fines, drive on a suspended license, or continue acting like the law doesn't apply to you, that's where you'll end up. Is that what you want? Marcus shakes his head, genuine fear replacing defiance. Then here's what you're going to do. Judge, you'll leave this courtroom and immediately reach out to a gambling addiction treatment program. The clerk will provide you with a list of available resources. Marcus, I can't afford treatment. Judge, many programs are free or offer reduced fees. You'll find one and commit to it. After that, you'll arrange a payment plan for your $550 fine plus $100 in prior debt. That's a total of $2,350. Marcus appears overwhelmed by the amount. Judge, you'll pay $50 each month. It will take over 2 years to finish, but you'll make every payment, no excuses. Miss one, and the district attorney will prosecute. Do you understand? Marcus, yes, Your Honor. Judge, and Mr. Thompson, let me be clear. Your gambling addiction is real and it's destroying your life. Your marriage has ended. Your relationship with your children is strained and you're drowning in debt. You stand here today because of choices that have left you financially unstable. Marcus begins to cry, realizing the gravity of his situation. A man from the courtroom stands. Man, brother, I was once in your place. I lost my wife, my home, and owed money everywhere. I blamed everyone, the casinos, the government, even my ex-wife. Marcus avoids eye contact. Man, but eventually I learned the truth. Every bet, every lie, every loss, it was my decision. Until I accepted that, nothing changed. I kept losing, blaming, and ruining my life. Marcus, how did you stop? He asks softly. Man, I got help, real help. Treatment, Gamblers Anonymous, therapy. I repaid every dollar I owed. It took 4 years, but I did it. My kids talk to me again now. My life isn't perfect, but it's finally mine. The man sits. Judge Caprio nods, acknowledging his words. Judge, Mr. Thompson, you just heard from someone who's walked the same path. The question now is, will you keep blaming others or will you take responsibility and start changing your life? I want to change, Your Honor. Then prove it. Get help, pay what you owe, follow the law. Show your children that their father can overcome addiction and become someone they can look up to. Where are you watching from? Comment your city if you believe addiction can explain behavior, but never excuse it. Judge Caprio continues, Mr. Thompson, you're 42 years old. You're still young enough to rebuild your life, but time is running out. Every year spent gambling is a year lost with your children. Every dollar you waste is money that could have supported them or reduced your debts. I know, Your Honor. I know. Then stop saying you know, and start taking action. The next judge might not be this patient. If you return for reckless driving or unpaid fines, you could go straight to jail. Is that what you want your kids to see? A father behind bars? No, Your Honor. Then get help today, not tomorrow. The resources exist. Use them. Judge Caprio raises his gavel. Total fine, $550. Existing debt, $800 total owed. Addiction is real. It destroys families, finances, and futures. That man needs help, and I sincerely hope he seeks it. But addiction doesn't excuse reckless driving, neglecting child support, or standing in court defying the law. I gave him consequences and an opportunity, treatment, a payment plan, and time to rebuild. Yet he must choose to act. No one can force recovery. It must come from within for himself and his children. Subscribe to Judge Stories. For more moments where personal responsibility meets reality, and where excuses never erase consequences. Marcus Thompson entered the courtroom defiant and arrogant. He left owing $550 in new fines without a license for 90 days, and with the realization that gambling had cost him far more than money. Judge Frank Caprio once again showed that compassion has boundaries, and that those who challenge accountability receive exactly what they earn. This is what happens when addiction turns from an explanation into an excuse, when blame replaces responsibility, and when a man's own words turn a manageable problem into his downfall.